And you came up with the political greatness scale,
yes,
which is in the book. And I may be wrong about this, but I found in looking through it that the number one, looking at all the numbers, the number one leader you found in the 20th century from your political greatness scale was Atatürk.
yes,
Am I right about that?
yes,
And after him now, right after him, FDR, they're very close.
yes,
I mean, on your point scale, Atatürk had 31, Mao 30, FDR 30, Stalin 29, Lenin 28, Ho Chi Minh 27, de Gaulle 27, Deng Xiaoping 27, Tito 25, Suharto 25. I can go on.
yes.
But why Atatürk?
Well, first, let me put those numbers in context. Those numbers are not engraved in stone. I would say that probably that if you wanted to group people, you'd take maybe a 5 to 7 point swing and include them kind of all together. It just so happened that Atatürk did come out first. Why Atatürk? The political greatness scale, I guess I need to say a word about that if I may first.
Your invention.
Yes, yes. I didn't want to invent it. When I first started the study, I was looking for some type of measure to evaluate political greatness. As I mentioned before, I was puzzled about this phenomenon, and I looked to others. I looked to political scientists. I searched the literature. I could not find any actual scale that measured political greatness cross-culturally. Of course, people rated the American presidents or this kind of thing, but nothing cross-culturally. So then the question came to me, how do you go about evaluating what is political greatness? And then I had a kind of eureka experience. Well, why not look at those people who were acknowledged by almost everyone as being great political leaders? Who are the famous names in history over time that come to mind when somebody says, mention a great political leader? People who come to mind are people like Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, Alexander the Great, Bismarck.
Your immortals.
The immortals, the political immortals. Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, people along those lines. And I came up with 26 of those people. Okay, these, I think, almost everybody would say these are the political immortals. And then I asked the question, what do these immortals have in common? Are there any common denominators? And lo and behold, I found a number of common denominators. Almost every single one of them had these characteristics. And I then used these characteristics, 11 of them, in developing the political greatness scale. And tested the scale in terms of its reliability, in terms of its validity. It was interesting that the scale correlated extremely highly with the amount of words allotted to these individuals in the Encyclopedia Britannica or the Encyclopedia Americana. So it had a validity to it. So this is the political greatness scale, 11 items on it.
What are some of the items?
One item, unfortunately, several of them have to do with conquests, unfortunately. But this is how people evaluate political greatness. Military victories, more territory, social engineering, changing the very nature of the society, economic prosperity, being a moral exemplar in a way, people like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, for example.
So it doesn't have anything to do with you feel warm and fuzzy about somebody.
No, it has to do with accomplishments, political achievement.
Is there any comparison with what you've done with political greatness scale to the Time Magazine Person of the Year, where people get outraged when they see Hitler on the cover and they think that they're naming him a great person?
Yes, I think it's an excellent kind of comparison. By greatness, I mean nothing about how you feel toward the, do you admire this person? I mean, some of these people are despicable. They're horrible people. However, their achievements, political achievements, are monumental.
Let me just show, we'll put this on the screen, and I'll read down the American presidents so people can see how you fit on the scale. If 31 was the top at Atatürk, and FDR was the top of all American presidents, you then have Truman at 23 points, Theodore Roosevelt 23, Ronald Reagan 22, William McKinley 20, Dwight Eisenhower 18, LBJ 18, George Bush the first 15, John F. Kennedy 15, Bill Clinton 15, Jimmy Carter 14, Calvin Coolidge 14, William Howard Taft 12, Gerald Ford 11, and Herbert Hoover 10, and Warren Harding 9. Those are presidents in the 20th century. I want to ask you quickly, though, about one of them. Why William McKinley so high?
Why William McKinley? A lot of people don't realize that William McKinley was quite an activist president. He was he secured the Philippines for the Americans. He helped liberate Cuba. There were many things that he did that actually on this political greatness scale scored him, gave him higher points than some of the other kind of presidents. I might mention, too, that as you rank them, if you were to look at those rankings compared to some of the rankings that have been given for presidents of the 20th century, you would find a very high correlation. It's surprising how close that is to what others have independently come up with on I don't know what kind of measures.
But then on the other end of the scale, I mean, the one that got the least number of points is somebody, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, named Stein, who was with the Orange Free State starting in power in 1899.
Yes.
You know who that was?
Well, he just simply accomplished nothing.
He got
right.
a 2, and Arias of Panama got 3, and Joseph Cook of Australia in 1941 got 5. Samuel Doe of Liberia got in 1980 got 5, and then you have somebody named Quisling, I believe.
Yes.
5. Somoza, you got the Somoza, the father and son.
Yes.
1. Bosch. Kim Campbell, Canadian.
Yes.
Above us there, only got a 6 from 1993.
Sorry.
Does that mean basically nothing happened on their watch?
It means not only did nothing happen, it means that there was corruption. They often ended their time in disgrace.
Could they be there for a short time? Like Kim Campbell was there a very short time.
Very short while. Yes. Yes. And that's another criterion. How long are they in office in terms of as to whether or not they will achieve greatness, but how they'll score on this political greatness scale.
Go back to why Atatürk on top of all these people.
Okay. Let's look at what Atatürk did. And again, mind you, take this in the context of some of the other great leaders some of the immortals I mentioned. Atatürk started Turkey. He dismantled the Ottoman Empire, which was in existence at the time. He not only was the founder of the country, creating a country, but he caused a profound social change in Turkey. He introduced democracy into Turkey, somewhat a militant type of democracy, but a democracy nonetheless. He was one of the first time in history to kind of separate church and state. In fact, even though it is predominantly a Muslim country, it's one of the few ones where certain types of freedoms are permitted, and in fact, the military is obliged to intervene if there's any threat to the democracy in any way. So at every single level, Atatürk had an incredible effect, and his achievements were remarkable.